We are under the lights this evening as we get you set for another edition of Baseball on the Show. Tonight, we've got a good matchup in store between the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. Acuna digs in now. He'll get us started in this one under the lights.
The right fielder, number 13.
Ready with the first pitch. Here it comes. Fastball that gets the inside corner. Strike one. And a half swing here, but this is in there for a called strike two. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Check swing here, but the bat clearly breaks the plane as he set down for the first out. And that'll bring in the former top prospect Ozzie Albies. Head-to-head history with Marcus Stroman. He's got a batting average of .444. Looked to be a sinker there, up in the zone a bit, but called the strike. Stroman, once a Toronto Blue Jay, he was acquired via trade last year.
I know he'd tell you he'd like to be playing a little bit better, but I think it's as advertised for this ball club right now. I think the manager is getting exactly what they expected.
The count now at 2-1. Hard hit ball to second, gloved by Lowry, and there are two away now. So next up will be Freddie Freeman, a winner of last year's Silver Slugger Award for first baseman in the National League. And he turns on one, sending it high and deep to right. Unbelievable. A home run. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw. Here's Marcell Ozuna.
The left fielder, number 20.
Now that ball is smoked. Carrying to deep left. Cespedes going back. See you later. Here's the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud.
The catcher, Travis.
He swings and grounds it to short, and that's through for a hit. Dansby Swanson lining up to hit as the sinker to him finds the zone for strike one. He takes his first cuts in this one with a man at first and two away. And it's quickly 0-2.
You're lucky if you get one pitch a night right down the middle. Cannot.
A swing and a miss. That retires the side, and that will do it. So stepping in, Brandon Nimmo. He'll lead things off here in the bottom half of the first.
For the Mets, the center fielder, Brandon.
The pitch.
Nope.
And that misses for ball one. 1-1 to the Mets leadoff hitter. From the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Hard hit to first. Freeman's got it. The tag, and he is out. Digging in, Michael Conforto. He'll get to take his first cuts here. Right side, but it's well foul. Again, another foul ball. One out, nobody on. As anticipated, here's a ground ball now to the right side. On to Freeman at first, and there are two away now. Digging in, the switch hitter, Jed Lowry. First cuts for him here with the bases open and two away. A called strike to the 35-year-old veteran. 0-1. And it's fouled away. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Line shot to second, but it's caught and the side is retired. stepping in for the Braves, Austin Riley. He'll get us started in the top of the second.
One of the keys to securing a win, they want to keep the pressure on and try to build that lead as much as they can moving into the later innings.
There's a swing, and he sends a ball high in the air into left field. Cespedes going back. Unbelievable. A home run. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw. At the plate now, Christian Pache chopped down the third baseline. This is foul for the first strike.
Sean Waltman joined the WWF when the company were just about to go full throttle with their new generation movement. And the 1-2-3 Kid would become one of the few new wrestlers who actually got over during this time period. From mid-1993 right up until Sean's first departure in 1996, the company would create some of the most absurd and ridiculous characters known to man. And business took a hit during this same era, but Waltman was able to make a name for himself during these trying times for both the wrestling business and wrestling fans around the world. It was the story of the underdog that got Waltman over to begin with, but within a year or so, the Kid became the measuring stick. Scott Hall said that WWF newcomers would work with Waltman, and it was Sean who reported back if these newcomers were good enough to hang with the superstars of the WWF. And that really tells us a lot about Waltman's abilities in the ring. Today's video will look at Sean's entire run as the 1-2-3 Kid in the WWF. Sean Waltman was trained by the great Boris Malenko, his son Joe, and he received further training from Eddie Sharkey and Carl Gotch. So this gives us a great idea as to why Waltman was so proficient in the ring. The first recorded match we have for Sean was back in 1990 where he won the PWA Light Heavyweight title. I'm pretty sure this isn't Sean's first professional match, but yeah, his recorded bouts start off.
Now here's one hit in the air to the right side,
stayed in the PWA for around a year,
so a two-out knock, and we'll go a little deeper into the top of the second.
One of which has survived and is currently available on YouTube right now. Sean would then travel to Dallas, Texas to work with the Global Wrestling Federation, and in mid-1991, Sean would win the GWF Light Heavyweight title only to drop it again to Jerry Lynn in December. This was a 2 out of 3 falls match, and the whole thing has been uploaded to the WWE Network in excellent quality. And it even features an interview with Lynn afterwards, conducted by none other than Bruce Pritchard. The match itself is superb, and even though I'd seen this one previously, I ended up watching the whole thing again while scripting this video, so do make sure to check this one out when you get a chance. Following this contest, both Waltman and Lynn traveled to Japan, where they worked with and against each other before returning to the States in mid-1992. And upon his return, the Lightning Kid got a tryout match with WCW against Bud Cook at Center Stage in Atlanta. And to my knowledge, this match has never seen the light of day. Things mustn't have gone too well, or maybe it was always just a one-and-done deal, because Waltman would find himself again in Japan, while also working a few small independent dates around America. Towards the end of the year, though, tragedy struck when Sean worked a match for Larry Sharp's World Wrestling Association against the wrestler named Wilcox overshot a front flip dive from the top rope to the outside, and Waltman ended up cracking his head on the concrete floor. This resulted in a blood clot forming near Sean's brain, and Waltman was told to give up wrestling by doctors. Only 4 months later, the Kid was back on the road.
Next will be the cleanup hitter, Yoenis Cespedes. He'll start us out here in the home half of the second.
Sean had his tryout match with the World Wrestling Federation the day after WrestleMania 9, where he worked against another WWF hopeful. The two men worked against each other twice before Sean traveled back home to Minneapolis to take on Sabu
known as La Potencia around baseball.
This match has also somehow survived, and it's available on YouTube. The Kid does a fantastic blade job during this contest, and Jerry Lynn has to make the save. 9 days after this pretty graphic matchup with Sabu, the Kid made his official WWF debut, using the Doink on Monday Night Raw in around 2 minutes.
Still
and
a
really,
ball and 2
nobody
strikes.
cared all that much
You know,
for
taking
Waltman,
you inside the
nor
mind of a
even
batter
the
right here, you
kamikaze
can't
kid.
get an auto
The
swing
following
mode.
month,
You still
Mr. Hughes
have to
defeated
control
Waltman,
the strike
known
zone.
as the
Hit the
Cannonball
other
Kid,
way out
and it
toward
really
right
looked
field.
like the kid was
Acuna
going to be
is
another
there,
one
one
of the
away.
many job guys that the World Wrestling
In now,
Federation had
J.D.
at the time,
Davis.
who would do nothing but lose to the bigger stars of the
Here's
company.
the first pitch
The
to
week
him.
after the Hughes match, though, the kid shocked
He'll
WWF
hold off on
audiences
the
when
slider
he
to
got
start
a win
the
over one
at-bat.
of the
It's ball
promotion's
1.
biggest stars.
Hey, that's a
the
nice
bad
take
guy,
by the batter
Razor
right there,
Ramon.
but that's a non-competitive off-speed pitch. Got
The
to
Kid
do better
versus
to at
Razor
least
Ramon
entice
match
the
that took
swing.
place on the
Albies
May
is there,
17th,
2
1993 episode of Monday Night Raw pretty much made Sean Waltman a star overnight. After
Next
the
for the
humiliating
Mets,
losses
Pete
to
Alonso,
Doink and
trying to
Mr.
make
Hughes,
something
the
happen
Kid came
with 2
across
gone in the
as a
bottom of the
nobody,
second.
someone who was there to take a beating and nothing more.
Got
Razor
him fishing that
completely
time,
decimated
0-1.
the Kid throughout their match, taking great pleasure in hurting this poor newcomer. But
A
Kid
ball and a
shocked
strike for the
everyone
Mets
by
first
hitting a
baseman.
moonsault and actually
2
scoring
out,
a
nobody
pinfall
on.
win. Nobody saw it coming. Enhancement guys just didn't win matches
Just
back
off the
then,
outside
but
that
it
time,
happened
laid
here
off
on
for a
Raw,
ball.
and the fans loved it. The bad guy would call the win a total fluke, but fans enjoyed rubbing it in
misses
Ramon's
again,
face by
ball
chanting
3.
1, 2, 3
You know, when you
during
haven't
his
gotten a guy
promos.
on
And
base
this
yet
is how
in
the
the
name
entire
1,
game,
2, 3
a three-ball
came to
count
be.
kind of feels like a
Razor
little
Ramon
mini rally.
wanted revenge,
Let's see if he can
so
get on.
the bad guy would try
Acuna
to
is there
entice
for
the
it.
Kid into having a rematch. Kid turned down
And
$2.5
that ends the
grand and
inning.
later $5 to step into the ring with the bad guy, but he couldn't turn down the offer of $10,000 for just one more match.
Top of the
with
third
Razor
set to get
Ramon.
underway.
During
And up
this
next, the
contest, the
catcher,
Kid
Travis
decided
Garneau.
he couldn't win
Even
the
though they're
match,
up by a
so he
boatload
instead
early on in
stole
this
the
one,
money and
you
he
can't
ran
get
out of the
complacent
arena.
and get lazy.
This whole
They got to
story
keep the gas
served
pedal
two
down
purposes.
because
It
this
would
team
turn
that they're
Razor
playing
Ramon
can
babyface
strike
when
and
the
score a
bad
lot
guy
of
got
runs too.
ridiculed by Ted DiBiase and
Now a
IRS,
changeup
and
in
it
on
would
the hands
also
that
make the
evens
Kid
it at
an
1-1.
unlikely underdog who
There's
now
no way
had a
around it.
regular
This has been
spot
a
in the
rough
World
start on the
Wrestling
mound,
Federation.
so it'll be interesting to see how long that man
On
is
the
going to
July
let him go.
19th, 1993
Maybe he settles
episode
in
of
and
Monday
can
Night
give you
Raw,
another inning
Money
or
Yank
so,
offered
but
Razor
I
Ramon
wouldn't
a
bet on it
job
at this
cleaning
point.
their toilets and doing
So
other
1 gone
degrading
for the Braves
things,
here in the
but
third.
Razor said
That
he
brings
doesn't
up the
have a
former
life,
number 1
isn't
overall
interested
pick,
in working for
Dansby Swanson.
DiBiase and
Bat
shit.
explodes as this
Ramon
is
took
popped
out
up.
Money Incorporated, and
good
DiBiase
hustle
said
to get
he'll
over
do
and
what
tag him
Ramon
for the
couldn't
out.
do, beat the 1, 2, 3.
So digging in now,
The match
Austin
pitting the
Riley.
Kid versus
He went deep
DiBiase
in his
took
first
place
at
on the
bat. We'll
August
see what he's
16th
got in
episode
store
of
for
Raw,
us here.
and Kid
this
ended up
last
getting a
at-bat, he
DQ
hit a
victory
changeup
after
out for a home run,
IRS
so
got involved.
it'll be
All of
interesting
this
this
led to
AP to see
Razor
if they
Ramon
give him a
facing
steady
Ted
diet of
DiBiase at
fastballs.
SummerSlam 93 in what would turn out to be the $1 Million Man's final WWF match, and it also led to the 1, 2, 3 Kid
So
facing
now to
IRS
play
and Sean
Christian
Waltman's
Pache.
WWF
This will get
pay-per-view
caught chasing a
debut.
bad one there.
Razor
at
got the
strike
win,
one.
but the Kid
Pache
wasn't so
is a guy
fortunate.
that has a
Erwin R.
lot of
Shyster was
speed,
able
no
to
doubt
defeat
about
the Kid,
that. And
but
while that's
when
certainly
losers
a
draw,
weapon for him
the 1, 2, 3
offensively,
Kid
it
was
could be
now
argued
on
that it benefits him just as
something
much on the
nobody could have
defensive side
imagined
of the ball,
after
given
his
the
first
position he
few losses
plays.
within
And not
the
only just
WWF.
speed, but first step quickness speed. He's able to track balls down that other guys
The Kid
cannot
went on
get to.
quite the
And
winning streak
sometimes that's
following
half the
SummerSlam
equation.
on
Oh,
both
and he
the live
botches
events
it.
and WWF TV
The
shows.
throw into second,
He and
and
Razor
the run
Ramon
will score
became
from
friends
second here
both
as that
on-screen
breaks it up
and
into a
off-screen.
6-0
And around
lead.
the same time period, Big Daddy Cool Diesel would also make his WWF debut,
Andres
who
Jimenez
in
the
turn
next to
became
bat.
good personal friends with Shawn Michaels.
As a
All
good
four men would
changeup will
become
get him
known
to commit
as
too early, and it's
a
strike
group of
one.
buddies who looked after
Hey,
each
with
other's
this big a
best
lead,
interests
you have to
backstage,
just pound
and a
the
group
zone
that
and
had
force
more
this team
stroke
to get
than what
aggressive in
most
the
other
box.
people were comfortable
And
with.
there's ball one.
Down the line, Hunter Hearst Helmsley would also join the group, but throughout 1994, it was
Swing and a
just
miss as he
Diesel,
ran that in on him.
Razor,
A ball
and
and 2
Kid.
strikes.
It was also
When
Kid
a
who
hitter is showing
introduced the
he's
wrestling
unable
word
to
to the
resist
Turkish
those
wolf
inside
hand
pitches,
gesture after
you just
seeing
might as
it
well
in a
keep
bar
going in
during
there
a European
and hope he keeps
tour.
chasing.
Some guys
Those
were
weren't
doing
strikes,
it, and
but
Waltman
he
thought
wanted
it
to hit
looked
them
pretty
anyway.
cool. He asked the guys what it symbolized, and the
Hit
clip
hard
just
on the
ran
ground to
with
the
it.
right.
So guys
That's a
like
hit, the
Finn
first of the
Balor,
game
Kenny
for the
Omega,
Mets.
the Young Bucks, the Bullet Club, and the countless other wrestling superstars who do that hand gesture have
Here's the
Shawn
catcher,
Waltman
Wilson
defeated.
Ramos. Yes, he'll
It
take a
wasn't
look
just
at ball
about hanging
one.
out with these main event guys and getting a rub thanks to your friends, though. Waltman could
That
back
evens
it
it
up in
up,
the
1
ring,
and
and if you
1.
need further proof, look no further
From
than
the
the
belt,
1-2-3
kicks
Kid
and
versus
deals.
Bret Hart match on the July 11th, 1994
Jimenez
edition of
on at
Raw.
first,
A match that's
nobody
considered
out.
as one of the all-time greatest matches
Sent on
in
the
Raw
ground
history.
out to second. He gets dirty, but he can't make the play. It's a base hit.
Before looking at the
runner
Hart
would go
versus
no
Kidd
further
match,
than
I should
second,
briefly
as there
mention
are
that
2
Waltman
awards
won
now.
his very first WWF Championship at the beginning of 1994, teaming up with Marty Jannetty to win the tag team titles from the Quebecers.
Robinson
Jannetty and
Cano will
Kidd
get the
held the
call
belts
here as he'll
for
hit
around
for
a
the
month,
pitcher.
but they ended up dropping the titles back to the Quebecers during a
Right
match
side,
against
hit
Bret
hard.
Hart. Kidd continued
reach
winning
at
matches
first,
on
but he
TV
can't
though,
flag it
and he
down.
earned himself
And
a
they're content
WWF
to
title
play
shot
station to
against
station
Bret
here as the
Hart.
bases are loaded
And
now
what's
with
so
still
unique about
nobody
this
out.
contest is that it
And
went
here's the
on for
former
nearly
first-round
18
draft
minutes.
choice,
A match of
Brandon
this
Nimmo.
length didn't
Now
happen on
1-0.
Monday Night Raw during this era, but it did
Line
here,
drive
and
to
it
center field.
seriously
That's
paid
in there.
off.
Base hit.
Hart versus
One
Kidd
run
in
scored.
1994 turned out to
Long
be
throw
a
to the
shining
plate.
example of what the
And
new
he's safe.
generation was supposed to be about. Athletic guys putting on exciting matches that the superstars of the past simply couldn't do. Bret Hart wasn't selfish in the ring either. It would be easy for a big name superstar to give very little to someone like Sean Waltman, but the 1-2-3 Kid was Bret Hart's equal during this title match. The Hitman allowed Waltman to get his stuff in, and even though he lost, the Kid left Raw that evening looking like one of the absolute best wrestlers in the world. The Hitman had put Waltman over, even though Bret still won the match. To this day, Sean Waltman remains extremely grateful to Bret Hart for what the Hitman done on this night, and the Kid calls this the very best match of his entire career. Waltman said,
And
he got really aggressive with me in there for the sole purpose of making sure
chance right here as a hitter to be really
because, you know, people
With two
were
guys
always
already on,
solidly
pretty good
behind
shot.
me
He's
back
gonna get a
then, but
challenge
I'd
pitch
never
right
been
here.
up against Bret.
Took a good cut
In
that
the
time.
end,
It
he
comes up
raised my
empty, 2-2.
hand and hugged me. It
Three
was like,
runs
man,
already
that
home here.
boosted my stock and put me
Fouled
straight
away.
to the top. That was what we did after the first time we ever had a match. That's what came
And it's
of
up
it.
to a
So I
3-2
can't
full
imagine
count
if we
now.
really got to know each
For the
other
guy on the
in
mound,
ring,
this is
what
one of
could
those
happen.
innings where nothing comes easy. He's thrown a
During
bunch
the
of
match,
Is
Bret
swung
gets a
on and
pinfall
driven out to
win,
right
but
center
Waltman's
field. A
foot
ball
was
that's
on the
well
road.
hit.
Bret demands
Well,
that the
he's
match
gonna
gets
hold this one
restarted
in
in
on the
order to
run
get a
as he
fair
winds
winner,
up just
and it's
shy of the
after the
wall for the
restart where
first down.
fans
Well, he
seriously
thought
start
about
getting
tagging and
behind
moving
the
up,
Kid.
but instead he's back
Waltman
to
shows a
second.
lot of fire, but Bret catches
Ready
Kid
with the
and
first
the
pitch.
sharpshooter
Here it
gets
comes.
applied. The
Could be
1-2-3
a
Kid
pair.
has
It's
no
on the
other
ground
choice
for
but to tap
Albies.
out.
Scooped up.
After the match, the
Throw
two
in
men get a
time as he's
standing
called out on a
ovation.
bang
Even
bang
Jim
play at
Ross and
third.
Randy Savage get on their feet
Into
to
the box
applaud
now,
what they just
J.D.
saw.
Davis.
And
Two men
after
are in
hugging
scoring
Waltman,
position
Bret
for him,
raises
so he'll
the
look to
Kid's
make
arm
this
in
a
the air as
one-run
the
game
audience
with a
gives it
base
up
hit
for
here.
one of the most exciting matches in
Throw on
Raw
to
history.
first, and a good job
If you're going to
of
go back
working
and
out of
watch
that
this
one.
one, make sure you leave the audio on. Jim Ross's commentary is also excellent on this evening, and he does a
Familia,
fantastic
the
job
right-handed
of putting the
reliever,
match
standing
over.
6'3", gets the ball now out of the bullpen. Now to the plate.
The 1-2-3 Kid would
Mike
get a
Soroka.
DQ victory
He got
over
on
Bret's
top of
brother
one and was
Owen
a
the
ground
following
out
month
victim
on Raw,
last
but
time.
from here,
First pitch
Waltman
coming,
was
here it is.
unfortunately shuffled back
A little
into the
tardy there,
WWF
no
mid
balls and a
card.
strike.
He did win the
Familia
tag team
is a guy
titles
that you'll
once
notice
again at the
attacks
beginning of
hitters with a
1995,
high-velocity
teaming up with
slider.
Holly
Not
during
the
a
old
tag team
sweeper. He
title
really fires
tournament
it in there and
that
snaps
ended
off
with Holly
big
and
numbers.
Kid defeating Tatanka
Little
and
tardy
Bam
on
Bam
that
Bigelow
swing as
of the
it's
Million
well
Dollar
wide at
Corporation.
first.
Kid and Holly were put
The
into this
0-2
tournament
once more.
as replacements for the
Hit
Smoking
back up the
Guns.
middle.
It was reported that
And
Bart
that is
Gunn was
through
injured
into
around this
center,
time
a
period,
base
and so
hit,
the
and the
Smoking Guns
opposing
would get a
pitcher
tag
gets
team
aboard
title
to kick
opportunity
off the inning.
the very next night on Raw, a match that Billy and Bart won. So Kid and
here's
Holly
Ronald
only held
Acuna
the belts
Jr.
for
now,
around
as
24
he will
hours or
look at a
so,
first
but
pitch
it's
fastball for
probably for
ball
the
one.
best.
He's
It's
1
hard
for
to
2
think
in
of
this
any
one.
positives with Holly and
Hit
Waltman
hard on the ground to
becoming a
second.
long-time
To second for
tag team.
one. On to
Throughout
first,
this whole
the
time
double play.
period, though, the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon remained on-screen friends.
Two gone now in the
Razor
Braves
began
half
a
of the
rivalry
fourth.
with
That'll
Jeff
bring up
Jarrett
Ozzy
on his
Albies.
roadie, and
last
Waltman
at
was
bat,
used to
Eddie. We've
even
heard this
the
guy's
odds
a
a
good
little bit.
fastball hitter. He
WrestleMania
got a
11 saw
fastball,
the
didn't
Kid
miss it.
stand in
We'll see
Razor's
if they
corner
pitch him a
during
little
an
bit
IC
differently this
title
time
match pitting
and
the
mix
bad
in some
guy against
off-speed
Double
pitches.
J. And a few
And he
months
just
later, at
misses
the
inside
second
with the
In Your
fastball
House
there.
event, the roadie would end up scoring a victory
Fly
over the
ball
Kid.
right
The
down
Kid
the
took
line
a
and
pile
left.
driver from the second rope during
And
this
that will
matchup.
end up a foul
The
ball.
losses kept coming at the
6
1995
runs, 10
SummerSlam
hits,
event when
and
the
no
1-2-3
errors
Kid
so
was
far
defeated
for
by
Atlanta.
Hakushi,
And this
but
one's
this
gonna
one
bounce
comes
up to the
recommended
plate.
also.
And
The
easy
styles
take
of
there, and it's
Hakushi and the
3-1
Kid
now.
meshed really well together, together, and this
Freddie
one turned out to
Freeman
be
would
one
be
of
next.
the best matches of
Now
the
here's
whole
one hit in the air
SummerSlam
to the
95
right
card.
side.
One
But
thing was
this is
becoming
back
apparent,
into the
though,
seats of
any
foul
hopes
ball.
of singles title
3-2
shots
counts
seemed
are
to be
usually a time
completely
to
out the
challenge
window
the hitter, but I
when
think
it
you'll be
came to the
careful here.
1-2-3
Shoot
fight.
for the corner,
Those
and if
opportunities
you miss
seemed
and
to
you
be
walk 'em,
reserved for
so
Walton's
what?
quick
That's
buddies
better
like
than him
Shawn,
putting one in the
Diesel, and
seats.
Razor. Still, SummerSlam 1995 isn't the greatest pay-per-view in the world, but check out Hakushi versus the 1-2-3 Kid. So good was this match that the WWF decided to book it again twice on Monday Night Raw.
Is there, and
Only
the side
Kid
is
was
retired.
able to defeat his opponent on both occasions. Realizing that the underdog story was getting a little played out and realizing that change needed to be made
Here
to keep
comes the
things
first
fresh,
baseman,
the 1-2-3 Kid would
Hey,
begin
we're still
a
in the
slow
early
heel
stages
turn
of
that
this
began
one, only
on the
down by a
11th of
couple of
September
runs.
1995
But it's really key for this
Monday
lead-up
Night Raw.
guy to try to get on
Razor
and
Ramon
get
was
a big
booked
inning
into a
started.
match with the
And he
British
fouls this
Bulldog.
one off.
And because Dean Douglas got involved in the match, the Kid decided to come out and help the bad guy. The Kid
Swing and a
inadvertently
miss, it's
squashed
0-2.
Razor, and after the bout, the bad guy and the 1-2-3 Kid had a few words for each other. This all led to the Kid wanting to prove himself
And a
to the
check
bad guy
swing. Did he
and
go
wanting
around?
to gain Razor's
No,
respect.
says the first
And a
base
match was
umpire.
booked
It's ball
between the
one.
two men the following week on Raw. Because of Dean Douglas's interference, the
roller left
1-2-3
side.
Kid was once
Fielded
again
cleanly.
able to defeat Razor Ramon.
And there's one
But
down
in Your
now.
House 3, Razor Ramon had a match with Douglas and the referee got
Now in the
knocked out.
box,
For
Andres
some
Jimenez.
reason, the
He
Kid ran
reached
down
on
to
a
the ring
single
and
in
he
his
made
first
a
try.
3 count, which led to Razor thinking he won the match.
No
When
balls and
Ramon
one strike.
realized what happened, he pushed Kid out of the ring, and this allowed Douglas to roll up the bad guy and score the
Wind up
victory.
and the 0-1.
Ramon and Kid then slapped each other around a bit before
Lifted the
officials
other
came
way
down
to
to break
left
it up.
center. On the
Another
move is
Razor
Ozuna.
versus Kid
He
match
gets
was booked
there
then
and
on
makes
the
a fine
October
running
2nd
play for
edition
the
of
second
Raw,
out.
and even though Ramon gave Waltman a complete
Now at the
beating,
plate,
the bad
Wilson
guy still
Ramos.
appreciated
Singled
how
and
Kid
scored
tried
in
to
his
take
first
shortcuts
appearance
to
in this
win the
one.
match. It ended with Ramon getting the
Good
win
slider
and
here
both
to
guys
start
showing
the
that they
at-bat, but it's
actually
ruled a ball,
respected each
1-0.
other. We were led to believe that this mini rivalry had now ended and everything was back to normal.
Drive,
And
and
Razor
that's
and
a
the Kid
base hit
teamed
into
up
center
at In Your
field.
House 4 to take
So at
on
the
the
very
Smoking
least, that
Guns
two-out base
for the
hit will
tag team
prevent the
titles.
pitcher's spot from
Razor
leading
had
off
the
the
match
next
won.
inning.
All he needed to do was pin Billy
Standing in
Gunn,
now,
but the
Jerry
Kid wanted
Scalia,
tagged in
as
in
the
order
first
to
pitch
score
to
the
him is taken
victory.
low and away
The
for
Kid
ball
lazily
one.
pinned Billy, but the pin got
Fouled off.
reversed. The Smoking Guns win the match,
Two out with
and
a
the
man at
1-2-3 Kid just threw away the tag team titles.
Now a ball
Embarrassed
swung
by
on and
what
heading
just
for the
happened,
stands in
the
right,
1-2-3
and
Kid
that'll move
attacked
the
the
count to
Smoking
1
Guns
and 2
after the
now.
bout, and he grabbed the tag team
And he
belts.
popped him up.
Razor Ramon
Acuna
came
coming
back
in.
into the ring, and he handed
can't
the
get
belts
to
back
it. This
to
one's
Billy
down.
Gunn. The full
And
heel
that
turn
run will
happened
go
then
no
on the
further than
November
second,
13th,
as there are two
1995
aboard
episode
now.
of Raw, when the Kid was
here's
the special
Brandon
guest
Miller,
referee for a
as it's
match
grounded
between
sharply to
Cycle Sid
first.
against Razor Ramon.
And he is
Kid
out on
pulled
the
Sid
tag.
down from a Razor's Edge attempt, and he performed a fast count
The next
when
to bat
Sid
for
pinned
Atlanta,
Razor.
Marcelo
The
Zuna.
1-2-3
He launched
Kid
one over the
had
wall
said
back in
that
the
he was
opening
now part
frame.
of the $1 million
Swung out
corporation,
and missed. It's
and the Kid
0-1.
would remain a heel during the rest of this WWE
one.
run. The heel 1-2-3 Kid didn't exactly
hard to
set
the
the
right
world on
side.
fire, and it didn't really
Foul.
improve Waltman's position on the cards either.
The 1-2.
If anything, he just became
Down
like
the
every
third
other
base
bad
line.
guy in Ted
That's
DiBiase's
true,
faction,
and he's now 2
where
for 3
everyone
in this
more
one.
or
And
less
this will
had the
find its
same
way to
moves.
the
The Kid
335
and Psycho
sign.
Sid would begin feuding with Razor Ramon and his new friend Marty Jannetty, and
Into
this
the box
wouldn't
now,
last
Travis
very long.
Garneau.
The rivalry
And a swing
moved
from
to
him
In Your
yields
House
a foul
5, where
pop out
Razor
play
and
to the
Jannetty
right.
won a tag
1
team
for
match
2 in the
against
ball
the
game
Hicks.
thus far.
Kid would then enter
Too
the
much dip on the
1996
sinker,
Royal Rumble
laid off
before
for a
finally
ball.
meeting Razor Ramon again inside the ring. This time
Now,
it was
ball
on
and 2
pay-per-view,
strikes now.
and it took place in
That's
the
not a pitch he
Louisville
misses
Gardens
very
at
often.
In Your House
He knows he
6.
should have done something
This
with
one
that
was
one.
booked
Swung
as
on
a
and chopped
crybaby
down
match,
the line at
and
third.
it's
But this is a
incredible
foul
that the
ball as the
WWF
count
didn't
holds
want to
steady
try
at
and
1 and
book
2.
a real hate-filled matchup
2 balls
between
and 2
these two,
strikes now to the Braves
considering
catcher.
the history that they had together. Instead, the crybaby match took
Bullet
place,
back
and the
up the
loser
middle.
would be put in a diaper and fed
Nimmo,
an
patrolling
oversized
center, makes
baseball.
the play.
Nobody
One out.
really cared, and I really think that both men deserved a little better than this
And
one.
next will be Dansby
Waltman was able to
Swanson
have
digging
another
in.
good match
He's
through
0
the
for
very
2
next
in the
night on
ballgame
Raw
so
when he
far.
battled Shawn Michaels
First
in a
pitch
losing
hack in
effort.
here, and that's the
But
first
really,
strike.
this would be the
I
last
think it's
decent
about time
thing
to
the Kid
choke
would
up
do
on that
during
bat and
this
get that
time
foot
period
down. He's
within the
awfully
World
tardy
Wrestling
right now.
Federation. Both Razor and Kid were also left off the
Bat
WrestleMania
explodes
12
as
card,
this is popped
and
up.
Scott Hall and
And
Kevin
no
Nash
one will
had
get
agreed
this
to
one.
jump ship the Kid turning
6 runs,
WCW
double the amount of
organization.
hits, and
So
no
Waltman
errors
was
so
really
far
just
Atlanta.
left is another $1 million corporation lackey who, to be fair, still put on good performances, but he simply was not going to move up the cards.
To the plate now,
Sean was
Austin
also
Riley,
going in and out
as he'll
of
try to hold back on the swing, but he went
so,
around for the first
so
strike.
his future
2 hits
within
in
the
2 trips
WWF
for him
was
thus
looking
far.
pretty
Right back to the
Shawn
mound.
would end up
Could be
having
an
his
easy
final
two. There's
WWF
one.
match of
On to
1996
first as they
on
get
May 20th, losing to Savio Vega. on
set now for the
Raw.
bottom of the fifth, and standing in the outfielder, Michael Conforto.
Shawn managed to get himself a
shifted well to the
WCW
right. Here's the
contract, and
first
the
pitch.
1-2-3 Kid would leave the World Wrestling Federation to join his friends Scott Hall and
Into
Kevin
the windup,
Nash
here comes
in
the
New
0-1.
World Order. Waltman did not receive the same big money deals that Hall and Nash did, but that really didn't matter. He was now on the show that had more viewers, and he was also part of the biggest storyline and faction in wrestling. Now wrestling as 6, Shawn
They have
Waltman
him
was
played
able to have
perfectly
some
as it's
incredible
hit on the
matches in
ground.
World Championship
And that's the
Wrestling
first out.
against the likes of Dean Malenko, Ric Flair,
At the plate,
and of
Jed
course
Lowry.
Eddie
He's
Guerrero
0 for 2
with their
thus
match
far in
against
this
him,
one.
sold out being the one that everyone talks about.
First delivery,
When
2
Waltman
on the
eventually
way.
returned to the World Wrestling Federation in 1998,
Hard liner,
it
but
can be
picked up on
easily
a hop.
argued that his X-Pac
On to
run
Freeman
during
at
the
first,
Attitude
and there
Era
are
was
2
much
away
better
now.
than his 1-2-3
Here's
Kid
Joanna
run.
Cespedes.
Although
He was
I don't
retired
think
via the ground
anything will
ball
come
last
close
time
to
out.
his
You
match
know,
with
Matt,
Hitler
every
Bret
team
Hart in
has that
94.
one guy.
I've already
and
covered
Joanna
6 on the
Cespedes
channel
is
in
that guy
depth,
for the
and I'm going to
Mets.
cover
Completely
X-Pac
changes that
too,
complexion
mainly
of that
because I'm
Mets
not
batting
happy
order.
with the older
Hey, he's
videos
done
on
an
the
amazing
channel,
job of
including
settling
the
down.
original
2
X-Pac
innings
video.
ago.
There's
So
a
you
swing
can
and a
consider the
drive,
early
and
videos as
everybody's
very
just going to
brief
sit back and
overviews.
watch that
Still,
one fly.
when it comes to the
A
1-2-3
no-doubt
Kid and
home
Waltman's
run.
WWF debut in 1993, it's incredible what can happen
J.D.
with some
Davis, the next
careful
to bat.
work. The Kid defeating Razor
the
Ramon
first
in
pitch
93
misses to him. It's ball
well
one.
thought out.
0 for
You
2
had
from him
Razor
so
and
far
Money
in this one.
in the background, making sure the fans reacted in the way that
Hit
was
softly
planned.
on the ground
And
to
the
third.
WWF
Right
managed to
to him.
create a new
Throw
star
in
out of
time,
someone
and the
who was
side is
seemingly
retired.
there to take loss after loss. It's a shame more wasn't done with Waltman following the Bret Hart match, but I
So
really don't
striding
think Shawn
forward
should
now,
complain too
Christian
much
Pache
about how
will try
his
to get
career
things started
turned
for
out in
the
the end.
Braves in their
Being
half of
part
the
of
sixth.
both the NWO and
Swing
the
and a miss that
Generation
time.
X
It's
is quite a
0-1.
big deal when you consider how important both
Got him
factions would
reaching
become
there, strike
to
two.
the history of pro wrestling. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very
And this
much
is
for
pop
watching.
foul, but
and
perhaps
take care.
playable behind first. And nope, this one falls, so he'll get another shot. And this pitch is up and in as he backs away. It's ball one.
Well, when you're behind 0-2 as a hitter, you're in swing mode. Nothing changes that like seeing something hard bearing in on you.
So it was a strikeout swinging. Christian Pache goes down to become the first out in the 6th inning. Adam Duvall will grab a bat and hit for the pitcher here.
Pinch hitting for the Braves. Number 23.
Ooh, he saws him off with that one. But foul. Bases are empty, 1 man out. Swing and a miss, and he's in trouble now, 0-2. And he goes up the ladder on him, but he lays off 1-2. To 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Hit the other way out toward right field. And that'll take care of the pinch hitter here for route number 2. So the batting order turns over now and set to
Hey, man,
go.
what's your
Ronald
relationship
Acuna.
like with
He's
Vince?
got a hit in
'Cause you
3
come
at-bats
pretty
at
cool.
this
I know,
point.
but check it out. You come to the company in
Hit in
1993.
the air to
Skinny ass
shallow
punk
center.
kid,
Right.
younger than son of a
Nimmo
bitch.
in
And
pursuit.
you work your way into that angle with Scott Hall.
He's there
you know,
to
when you
track
beat
it
him, the
down, and
upset,
that'll
which
end
was
the
just
inning.
television gold, and it was great. You guys had such great chemistry together. But when you come in, little bitty son of a bitch, and you got over. But what was his attitude towards you? Because, you know, Vince loves
A.J.
big guys.
Munter
Right.
appears to do the pitching in the
It
bottom
was
of the
tough
6th.
because the whole idea
Bottom of the
was
6th
Vince,
inning
right?
now, and up
The
steps
angle,
the
because
power
it
bat of
wasn't just
Pete
introduced,
Alonso.
it was to
Ball
actually
1
turn
to start the
Scott
at-bat.
Right.
So it was killing 2 birds with
Swing,
1
and he puts
stone.
a charge
And,
into this one, high
you know,
and deep,
I had my
and you
tryout
can't
match
forget
in
about
Phoenix,
it. This ball
Arizona.
is gone.
the day after WrestleMania 9, and thank God, because back then, when you came in for a tryout match, they'd stick you with Virgil or goddamn Jim Powers or Lombardi, guys that had no vested interest in you getting a job there whatsoever.
Right.
You know?
Meaning not running them down, but they weren't really interested in shining you up so that you can make an impression.
Exactly, as Strongbow used to say. But Chief J. Strongbow,
He was great.
rest in peace. So Vince liked me from the get-go, and apparently he knew before my tryout he was going to hire me. I worked with Louis Spicoli, another guy that passed away because of mixing somas and alcohol.
Yeah.
But he gave me I couldn't ask
So
for a
now to the plate,
match.
Andres Jimenez.
You know,
You got a kid can work.
Pitch to him comes up empty. It's
Got all your shit in. Yeah, trademark.
For him
Yeah,
so
I did
far.
both sides.
And this
up
is
to the
pop
floor,
foul,
like,
but
it was
perhaps
a
playable behind
ridiculous
first.
suicide dive.
And no one can
I was
get
just
there.
letting it all
We'll try
hang
it
out. This
again.
is my chance, right?
Here's the 0-2.
And Brad even came up
And
to
it's
me
fouled away.
afterwards, putting my stuff
Bases
over.
are empty here.
I'm
Nobody out.
standing outside Vince's door. You know how guys do, right?
Yeah.
Word with Vince. And
Check swing.
he
Did
just
he
came
go
out.
around?
He was
No,
thanking me for
says
being there,
Kenny
and I didn't
Jansen.
hear
It's
anything
ball
for a couple
one.
months. But you know, then he called me up.
Now his
He
swing
ran
the ball
the
popped in the air
angle
back
by me,
behind
asked
short.
me what I thought of
Swanson
it, and it's
backs
like,
up a bit and he
well,
takes
of course, what
charge
do you
for
think
the
of it?
first out.
Nobody, I don't think anybody has ever been
And
brought
that'll bring up
inside of
Wilson
that.
Ramos.
Ever.
Two
That's
base
the
hits,
best
both
way
singles
anybody's
to
ever
this
brought
point.
it, in my opinion.
The shit
Hard
pile
hit
better than
ball
the
to
ring
second.
master.
Albies picks it
Well,
up.
yeah. I mean,
And there's
it's
out number
better than
2.
Anybody really, because everybody else just came in the conventional way. You know, so everything that Vince came up with when it came to that worked like a charm. But I got too big for my britches with the ribs and all that stupid shit, and he had to put me in my place.
Todd
And so
Frazier
they had
will
me
get the
jobbed
call here as he'll
IRS
hit
at
for the pitcher.
SummerSlam, and they kind of punished me for a while, and then I started coming back up and had a great match with Owen, and then had a fucking match with Bret Hart that still to this day people talk about it. And he gave
Fouled
me,
away.
even though I lost, he put me over. He went
Nothing in
actually
one
went
count.
out
Here
on
it
a limb
comes.
and kind of
Now a
turned
good
heel
pitch around the
just to
knees,
get
but
me
it
over,
doesn't quite catch the bottom of
And
the zone.
I got all my shit in. And
And a
we had
fastball that
about
misses up in the
probably
zone here. It's
35-minute
2-1.
match cut down to
Here
25
it
for
comes.
TV. And at the end, he raised my hand, hugged me.
Brendan
It was
Nimmo
like
would be next if they can keep
shit,
this
man.
inning alive.
that
And he
boosted
lays
my,
off ball
credit.
4, so he comes right off the
Straight to
bench
the
and works
top.
the walk.
And things were going good until the whole talk of heading down south came about.
To Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch. This is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell
Brendan
yeah.
Nimmo is in for 2 away now as he looks at a called strike 1.
Without any further ado,
And the 0-1.
the kind of conversation we're having with Brett the Hitman Hart today is very loose platform. Anything, everything under the sun. You guys send questions to SteveAustinShow.com. We're just going to talk randomly about anything and everything that goes on in the world of professional wrestling. If you ever thought about getting into business, this is a damn good show to get some 411. Without any further ado, welcome, Brett the Hitman Hart. Brett, how are you?
Packing, pitch
I'm doing
on its
good,
way.
real good. Life's
Line
good.
drive to center field.
You're in
And that'll
Calgary
get
right
down
now.
for
What's
a
the
base
temperature?
hit.
Oh, it's about 70 out today.
Oh, man, I thought it'd be colder than the sumbitch over there right now.
It's nice. It's nice and cool. Actually, these are the days, the best days of the year right now.
He's
Oh,
working on a
Randy.
1 for 3.
So what are you
thus
doing? Are
far.
you running around? Are
That's
you
lifted the
riding
other
your
way
bike or
to
just
left.
chilling?
Ozuna is
taking
under
it easy.
it.
I did a lot of traveling last week. They had the
He's got it to end
Bret
the
Hart
inning as they'll
appreciation night here last week in Calgary on Raw, and that was a big day. And then they made it actually Bret Hart Day here in Calgary.
Stephen Max.
And other than that,
is on
I've
to
just been
pitch
taking
from
it easy. I was
bullpen
in
now to start
Hawaii
inning
before
number
that. I got
7.
a place down
Ozzy
there that
Albies will be the first one to greet him
has
as he'll
been,
have to turn around and bat from the
that kind
right
of
side of the plate
May
here.
and I don't like
Seared
May up
down
here.
the first
May's the worst
baseline.
month of the
And
year.
a
up
reach,
here.
but it's by him as he couldn't
worse
quite
than
get to
January.
that ball.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Bret Hart Appreciation Day.
And
How
he's
was
gonna
that
get to
for you?
second now
You go
with
back
nobody
into the
out.
locker room. How long were you actually in WWE? Total time?
As he'll take a
Well, I
look
was
at
there
a high
for
strike
14
that
straight
time.
years.
It's nothing in
14
one.
straight
He's 2
years.
for 3
You go
and
down to
looking for more
WCW.
here.
You retire. You've been back,
Swing and a
several
miss, and
times
he's in
since.
control,
But you go
0-2.
back in for Bret Hart Appreciation
A
Day.
runner at second,
And how's
nobody
that
out.
locker room? How's the
Lifted
field and how's the
other way to
atmosphere?
left center. Cespedes
You know,
on the move.
I have
He makes the
nothing but
catch, and the
respect
runner
for
from
all of
second
them.
will tag and hit for
It's a
third.
different kind of
And a
group of
daring
kids. I
move
call
there
them kids
pays
now.
off as
I
he'll
guess
make
that's
it
what they
into
are.
third on the fly.
They're so much. They're smaller. They're better athletes, and some of them are just amazing.
He's ready. Here's the
Amazing
first
with
offering.
some of them, like
Marcelo
Brian
Zuna
or Daniel
comes on
Bryan.
with one away as he looks at a ball. It's 1-0.
And Punk and these guys. Some of the stuff that they're doing is like it just amazes me how they can take it another couple inches further all the time. There's always somebody taking wrestling over the boundaries and making it good again. There's a lot of really good talent out there. I've watched them.
Well, to your point, things kind of keep evolving, just like the game of football has. How often are you able to watch Monday Night Raw these days and stay on top of the current storylines, angles, and everything they've got going?
So go after the first pitch and bounce it into foul territory.
Here and there, off and on. I found the last 2 months I've been watching it pretty close. I try to watch it. When I find it starts going to too much
behind first,
and
no one can get there.
And
We'll try it again.
I sort of fade off.
1 and 2.
Usually I go back and check it out again. There's certain guys, like especially like second generation guys, like
he's still in the driver's seat right now, and I'd expect something else to miss off the plate.
Bulldogs kid and
here's a fly ball. Well hit. Cespedes is going back.
Andy Orton. I know all of them, knew a lot of them when they were kids.
I don't believe
kind of always
what I
rooted for the
just
second generation wrestlers, just haven't been one myself, or even the third generation wrestlers.
Robert Sullivan comes on the pitch here with one man gone in the top of the seventh.
It's kind of like they've, obviously they've grown up in the system. You feel like gives being second generation gives those kids an advantage?
Oh yeah, it gives them, just watching it. I think I don't know that I was ever the greatest student.
High fly ball out to straightaway center.
But I think that the real truth of it is I was a student. When I got out of school, I really wasn't worried about my math. When I went to the wrestling matches,
standing in, Christian Pache, he'll look to bounce back after striking out his last time up.
I sit right at the timekeeper table.
Swung on and missed for the first strike.
Wrestling, Gene Kiniski, and I see the best in the world right up close, and studying it, and watching it, and going.
In front of the changeup, and he
those
can't
guys
keep
are good.
it fair.
Like,
2
I
strikes
knew the good
on
wrestlers
now.
from the bad ones. I knew the guys that. The one guys
and he struck out
again.
That's the third time he's gone down on strikes in this one.
I came across instantly in me, and I think as a young kid, I understood wrestling. I think when I got into it, I didn't know how exactly it
standing
was.
in as the switch-hitting second baseman, Jed Lowry.
It doesn't look very promising so far this one as we move into the later innings.
When they finally do break
down
in,
by a bundle,
it's
time to get some base runners and hopefully a long ball to get them back into this one.
It's not such a big shock. You kind of go, okay, I kind of knew.
And now a pitch that's taken here by
But
Lowry
at the same time, my dad
took
kayfabe so serious.
Let's stop there. Let's go there, Brett. Kayfabe, you took it serious. These days, it's sports entertainment. Vince McMahon, kind of came out of the closet, so to speak, with the business back in the day, before all the exposés, as when you grew up, when I grew up, wrestling was real. And although you're second generation, your dad was in the business, it was very protected. What is the biggest difference in your eyes between the kayfabe era versus today's era?
And he's quickly behind 0-2.
I think it's
fastball,
it's never the same
strike
for the
3
fans.
called
I
as he
mean, I
couldn't
think
pull the trigger.
all I
and
ever
they
tried
were
to
on
do is
2
make
away.
it real for the fans.
Right.
I never like to go someone that I never like to be the one that gave it away.
Bases are empty here with 2
like
men
when
out.
2 wrestlers were drinking together after they fought each other and stuff like that. I never wanted to be one of those guys that
center
gave
fielder
it
on
away.
the run.
Totally.
He's there to make the play,
I
and
always
that'll
wanted them to
retire the
guess. I
side.
think that maybe there was a little tension between me and the one guy that did have to wrestle, even if he was in the same bar or whatever it is. I always thought when I was a little kid, I wanted to believe it was real.
He's going to be asked to get things going here as a
part
lead
about
off
being
at
a
the
fan
top
as
of
a
the
kid
8th.
was when I thought it was real. That was when it was
High and tight
really,
here to
I wanted
begin the
to
inning.
fight
It's
next
ball
week,
1.
So I grew up with all that sort of.
Close
I
there,
grew
but
up
he doesn't get the call
very
with the breaking
defensive
ball.
of wrestling, in my family. It was the family business, and at the same time, it was
Lifted in
I
the
don't know how
air
many
out
fights
towards
I had
left
as a
center.
kid.
Giving chase is
It
Nimmo.
makes me laugh when I think about how many
He
fights I had
gets
as
to
a
it
kid.
and makes the catch for
Simply
the
over the
first
statement
out.
that my dad suffered and your dad did.
And now back to the leadoff spot. Great lineup.
It
Stepping
usually
in.
led to
Ronald
a
Acuna.
wrestling match
It
on the
was a
grass.
fly
Where
out for
usually
him
I
in his last
put a
trip.
professional wrestling move on, like a sweep over a Boston
It's a
grass.
high fly ball headed for the left field
I heard
corner.
the
If
Chiefs
it
rule
stays
that
fair,
the,
it's gone. And
the
it's
Chiefs in
a
Detroit was
foul
using
ball.
the camel clutch or whatever. I don't know how many guys I beat with that. I remember
When you put a kid in a camel clutch on the schoolyard, you mean serious business, brother.
Right there by that pitch, he was able to keep his hands back, not
I remember thinking, you can't do this stuff in amateur
1-2 now. The pitch.
Hey, let's talk about when Dr. D. David Schultz, and talking about kayfabe and not kayfabe, and back in when guys protected the business because it was their business. And, everything was predicated on the fact that this was real. When John Stoughton went back to do that interview with Dr. D, and Dr. D, I never met the guy, David Schultz, but he was probably a little bit on the aggressive side, and he slapped John Stoughton a couple of times and really damaged his ears, but obviously a very unwise move, not a smart thing to do. But he was trying to protect the business in his way. What was your opinions when that was going down?
Well, I think Dave was stressed out at the time. But the real truth of it is that he did take pride in the business. And I think that when that happened with Stossel, his attitude was that...
so now to the plate,
I think he did it for the boys.
Hit in
and
the
did
air
it
to
for
straightaway center.
He thought that everyone would
Waiting
go.
on it is Nimmo.
Who is it? I thought he was trying to give credibility to, and I agree that it was probably not the smartest thing in the world, but that's how Dave was. Dave had a short fuse, and when he got himself worked up enough, he had a short fuse to go off on anybody. But in saying that, I always thought Dave was always
no balls and one strike.
He was always a good guy to me, and I always felt that he just had to sort of work through that, calm the beast in him sometimes, and get him back to
37 years old. This is his 12th season in the big league, so he's put together a nice
in looking back on that, I always...
Yeah, Matty, this guy has had
I've seen that clip back so many times, and I have to admit that Stossel
the changes he's had to make. This is a game of
He
adjustments.
really had
a line by a long shot.
He did. He crossed the line. He had an indignant tone. It was condescending. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to take that approach, the smartest place to do that isn't where he did that. Maybe in a studio there, where he had all his people around. Not that they would have done anything, but I think he picked the wrong person, the wrong place, and the wrong time to conduct that interview.
Right. But I always thought Dave, in looking back over things over the years, I always thought he was a hero to me for that day. He did that for a lot of the boys. Saluted him on that one.
Ready for another chance?
Steve Austin Show.
Went deep earlier, and he's 2 for 4 to this point. First pitch on its way. Hit in the air out to right.
Hey, you looking for a new pair of shades? Check out Shady Rays. Hey, man, I'm out in the sun quite a bit, but I'm getting work done out here. Fancy pants, sunglasses, ain't my style. Shady Rays and premium polarized shades are fraction of the price of big name brands. No need to overpay for sunglasses, don't hold up in the outdoors, and are just going to get roughed up anyways. The craziest thing about Shady Rays is warranty. This is one of the strongest warranties in all of eyewear. Replacements for shades are lost or broken for any reason. It doesn't matter what happens. Drop in the ocean, lake, anything, they'll replace them. Try that with your high-priced shades and see if they'll help you. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 10 million meals to date. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. That's it. Exclusively for our listeners, they gave us the best deal they have to offer. Now's the time to try Shady Rays risk-free. Use code STEVE for 50% off a pair of shades at ShadyRays.com. You can get a pair of high-quality shades for as low as $24 with this deal. Redeem only at ShadyRays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
And they've certainly got their work cut out for them here. So
hey man,
getting aboard.
I don't know how clear I was when I started this show and talking about our conversation. It's just kind of two guys talking about the business, and we're going to filter in some questions that I pulled off my website that people wanted to ask you. But this conversation is just about everything. And like if you and me were riding down the road together, and this is the kind of stuff we would be talking about, I got to tell you that I've probably never heard enough stories about the dungeon. And I was reading some more articles about you before we talked, and your dad putting you in so many holes down there, and teaching you the business, teaching you respect.
Hey,
what was the atmosphere, the vibe like? Because the stories that were going around was just people screaming and being stretched and punished. What was the dungeon all about?
You're going to ground into a double play.
You know, it was just a little tiny room. Really wasn't that big of a room.
Off and the count runs full.
It was a little cement room, and then they put some boards around it so you could run into the boards, which are a little softer.
He couldn't get him to bite on it again, so the count's gone from 0-2 to 3-2.
And this one
It was a
bounds
big
around
mass
against
that
the
was
wall.
as hard as a
And they've
floor.
really got something
Hardly
going
any
here.
hits
Runners
at
at
all.
second
In
and
fact, that
third to
board
start
all
the
across
inning.
it. There's a little bit of padding now.
Stepping in
It's
now,
not very good
Michael
padding. And
Conforto.
some
As he'll take a
the
look at
canvas,
ball
and
one.
it was stretched out over the mat. It was actually probably a pretty good amateur wrestling
Ball
mat.
two
It was
now.
not necessarily a good
Hey, the
bump,
bullpen
but,
needs to
you know, it had
step
a low
up in this
ceiling.
situation. I got to
Had
believe
two
the
windows
manager
where you
was
could kind of
hoping.
peek in,
And it's
which are usually
belted
broken
high and deep
baseballs
into
and
right
stuff like
center.
that.
And he's going to
But,
make the catch
and,
on the warning track.
You know, the
Fine
things that
leg
happened,
play
and then there was
for
a
the
whole
first
weight
down.
room
Throw
with
back to
everything. My
second,
dad
and
mostly
that's a
hand-built
double
weights.
play.
He did order
But
some
he's safe
special
at
weights
third
that
as
had
he's able to scramble back.
had the heart engraved.
Ready to deliver. Here's the first pitch.
It's really nice.
Lifted the other way to
weights
left
that
center. Ozuna on the run, and he tracks it down.
But your dad wasn't down there
there
teaching chain wrestling. He was teaching wrestling holds and respect.
Well, you know what it was he was always, he loved wrestling. He was more of his whole thing was he loved to shoot wrestling. He'd wrestle, he'd go down there and he'd have whatever guys were working up here, they would come up on weekends when business was good in the 50s. All the wrestlers would sort of party at my dad's house, and you'd have a beer and hot dogs and barbecue and stuff like that. And they'd have a big barbecue, and Stu would make beer down in his basement, and they'd all drink beer and wrestle all day down long in the gym. Kind of shoot with each other, pull necks, we used to call it. I can remember being about 3 or 4 years old, walking around down there with all these huge legs, like weightlifters, usually big, huge, heavy legs.
Yeah.
12 hits, no errors. They left 7 men on base. Time of the ball game, 3 hours and 57 minutes.